Today we have Pastor Sharon Banks. She is the founder of Woman Moved with Compassion Ministry.
Yes.
And she was brought here by our one and only Lanisha Kim.
Yes, Nene, y'all already know.
Lanisha Kim. Okay.
Yes.
And I sent Miss Sharon questions, and she picked my favorite question.
Wow.
I've been waiting for someone to pick this question.
That's because
Yes.
they were so loaded.
Yes, everyone is
Yes.
running from this question, but
Yes.
she picked it, so I'm excited.
Yes.
This question is: when bad habits fall off, what good habits do you replace it with?
Mm-hmm. So she's right. This was a very loaded question for me. All of them are because they just go. There's no simple answer.
Right.
So when I began to think about the bad habit that I had was being so self-reliant
Mm-hmm.
and also lacking humility.
Mm-hmm.
So me being not really wanting help or not wanting to be vulnerable to people led me on a path where God had to strip me. But I had to humble myself and do it God's way.
Right.
When you are, I'm from a very large family, first of all, and you know, like I was telling you, I have a family of 16 siblings, and I'm number 10 of the 16 siblings, and I had 8 sisters,
Mm-hmm.
and there are still 6 of them still remaining,
Mhm.
but we were taught to be strong. We were strong-willed. We were taught to be confident. We were taught, you know, to really like rely on your own strength.
Yes.
In other words, do your thing, you know. So from that, I was always kind of like hard-headed, rebellious, want to do my thing, don't want to listen, think I knew everything.
Listen,
I thought I knew everything, seriously.
me too.
At 19 and you know, 18, you know, thought I knew everything. And I remember my ex-husband coming to my dad because I really, you know, I got married fresh out of high school.
Yeah.
You know, and they was like, no, man, can you know, can I marry your daughter? My father said, no,
You jumped straight in it.
and I didn't listen.
And did
Oh,
it anyway.
Wow.
So my choice led me to some things that was humbling.
Mm.
I still didn't get it. But at that time, I remember God saying to me, you chose that, I didn't choose that.
That eating me up the first 3 minutes of the
Okay, you chose that, I didn't choose that for you.
Right.
So because I chose that, I had to suffer or learn from that experience in a way that humbled me.
Yes.
And I remember, you know, I talk about this a lot of times to the women. I was like, you know, we get in these relationships and we put these people up on pedestals like they're not human beings. And we go into this thing and we forget about, oh, I'm just, you know, I got this, I got life. You know,
Right.
that's how we think. We think as women, we got this.
Right.
And I remember my mother would say to me, she was like, girl, you got that man up there before God. You love him more than God. She said that to me one time. I said, Mom, I said, Mom, no. What you talking about? What are you talking about? And she was like, I said what I said. You have put him before God in your life. He is like your God, your idol. And I remember that hitting me so hard. That's why I can talk about it now.
Right.
The day that's my son's father.
Mhm.
And I just was like, no, I'm born again. I'm saved. I love God. And I go to church. And
Right.
what are you talking about? I serve God. And she was like, I said what I said. You have this man in the wrong place.
Mhm.
So I went through a period of, because I had him in the wrong place, God actually allowed the carpet to be pulled from under me, and I hit hard,
Mm-hmm.
hard,
Yes.
and I went through a lot of hurt and falling down to the ground like zilch to nothing,
Mm-hmm.
and having a baby to look after at the same time.
Mhm.
And God was like, but this is where, and you know, in this journey, if you don't get it right the first time, you will be humbled again until you get it again.
Yep.
So in that moment, trying to pick myself, and it took me a minute to pick myself up from that place. And that's how God began, I think, birthing ministry in me at that point. So because I was a hurt woman, I was able to recognize other hurt women.
Yeah.
And God began to allow me to be somebody who would say, or listen, or he'll give me, I mean, people would sit next to me and tell me their whole life story, and I'd be like, God, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? But he knew what he had birthed in me. And because, you know, my father was a pastor. He was a pastor for many years. He was a bishop. And he had taught, you know, we were read in church, and it was a lot of things that he instilled in us. So when people would talk, I knew what I heard over the years that I had been taught. So I was able to talk the talk, and God was teaching me how to walk the walk.
Yes.
So that actually was where that was what was happening to me.
Yes.
That he was allowing me to not, okay, you heard these things over the years. Now I'm allowed this to become personal. It was only through my situation of me being separated and going through hard stuff, you know, through my divorce and being, you know, with my husband, that I learned relationship with God. It was in that place of that fall of being pulled down, the rug. That's how I developed relationship. And I would trade, because, you know, after that place, I went through a period of, and that's why I don't play when I talk to people about depression.
Right.
I was highly depressed.
Yes.
I mean, it wasn't the, okay, I'm feeling bad for, you know, a day or two. I'm like, no, I was seriously in depression to the point where my mom and my family members, my mom would tell my siblings, don't bother her. Handle her with kid gloves. Because at that point I was back at home, you know, because she thought that I would break. That's where it was. I was at a point where I would break. So they would handle it very gently. And I remember, and I always laugh about this, I tell this testimony all the time. People around me hear me say this, how God broke depression off of me. But I never forget, I was in a service. My mom was like, like I said, y'all, I was still attending church. And I went to the service, and it was an evangelist, a man of God who came in. I think he was from Cincinnati, but he came in and he could not preach. He said to the audience in the congregation at the time, somebody in here is so depressed that I can't preach this. I can't start this until I deal with this. So my mother turned around, because I was in a bench behind her. She turned around and she looked at me and she says, gave me that look, if you don't get your hind parts up and go to that man and get this thing straightened out, because we've been dealing with you and living with you with your head hung down, and your, you know, depression was every moment. When it was to the point where every moment I would get up, I would hear, you know, people talk about, but in my head, I would literally hear I was being tormented. So every morning it was like, you can't take this. You're not going to make it. This is just too much. You should just take your life. That's what I was hearing. And the depression. It was suicidal thoughts. It was, you know, that was what was going on. I did see suicide ideation. All of that was going on in my head. And nobody knew because I didn't talk about it. But they just saw this sad young woman walking around like thinking my life was over because a man had walked away from me. So at that time, I often think about how my mother, she was praying. And I'm going to tell y'all, you know, a lot of us wanted to say, well, when you got up to that altar, didn't it happen? Some things broke off of me that day, but I still had it.
Yeah.
I like to say that it took some time, some years, for me to actually come up out of depression.
Yeah.
Do you think that, because I'm a firm, well, I believe that the longer you've, sorry, the longer you've been in it, the longer it's gonna take to
it
get
out.
off of
Yeah.
you. So like, say if you're in this for so long and you've been dealing with it for so long, like it's gonna fall off as time as you here's gonna fall off. Like now I can look back and be like, I shed a lot off. I still have some ways to go.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But that was a lot that I got off.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
why,
Yes.
we expect it to happen overnight. And it's like that's not something that's going to happen overnight. So
No, it
so you have to give yourself grace with that. But we be so hard on ourselves, like, why is it still on me? Why is it still on me? Because it has to take time to get off you.
Yeah, and I went through that, and that's how deep that thing was rooted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how deep.
Yes.
When you think about it, how much I had invested in that thing,
Yes.
and the time and the energy and what I thought.
Yeah.
But God was like, "Oh, you chose him. I didn't choose. You didn't seek me for that.
Yeah.
You didn't seek me for that. You made that choice, and I thank God now. But it was like, okay, this is your first lesson of humbling and humility, and that you can't do nothing without me. Nothing without me. So in that, I remember just thanking God, like, God just helped me, because I was going through it every day.
Yeah.
From the time I would open my eyes in the morning until the time I would go to sleep. It was this torment that was constantly going on.
Yes.
And I remember just wanting to escape that. And I'll never forget, it was a simple thing God did for me one day. I was taking a shower. I was in the shower. And I heard the Spirit of the Lord say to me, if you would praise me, I'll keep your mind. He said, praise me. Just praise me for keeping your mind. And it was God that was keeping my mind, because I don't know how I studied that far. And when I did, I began to praise God right in that shower. And I literally can hear, like, and see in the Spirit, like chains were hitting the shower walls.
Wow.
I can feel it hitting the bottom of the tub. So whatever had me bound had just loosed me.
Yes.
God had gave one word. He gave me one word. He said, praise me, and I will keep your mind. Just praise me for keeping your mind. And I did that thing, and God loosed every fetter that was on me. I was free. And I tell that to women, because I think that's something that we're living in a time where mental health issues is, people don't, you can't play with it no more. We kept it quiet for so many years, but people really are suffering, having hard times mentally, dealing with all kinds of things, and we hide and we mask. We put on this mask, and it's time to take the mask off. It's time to be real. It's time to just tell the truth. We don't want to talk about the stuff the bad habits we had, where we one of these type of women that I can't make it without a man. We gotta be, and I'm not saying that we need to not have a man. That's not what I'm saying. But when you think that you can't be of no importance, you can't make it and live life to the full if God don't give you a husband, you better check yourself, because he's more than enough.
Yes.
First of all, he's more than enough.
Yes. So
and you got to be able to wait until he says, okay, I'm sending that one. I've just sent the one that the one I really want you to be with. He's coming. So we do it. I would like to say that I learned my lesson then from the first, but I know y'all.
No.
Yeah.
I got a question for you too, right? Whose story do this sound like?
It sound like me.
It sound like
mine.
hello?
Yes.
Now y'all kidding? Y'all serious?
Yes. I was just waiting to go.
I have my toes curled around the bottom of the chair trying to keep me in it. Like, you don't understand. Like,
Yes.
I went through it twice.
Curled around. The second time was even longer.
It
It was even worse.
It was worse. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So what I'm gonna say is that those habits of not trusting the voice of God, and those habits of not knowing how to wait and be patient until God opens the door, or until God says, okay, we gotta learn that thing.
Yes.
We gotta learn that. And I remember I wanted to say that because the mental health thing, I wanted to go back to the depression piece, because when God freed me from that thing, it was a scripture that he kind of gave me, and I caught it. I was like, God, I get it. He said, and he took me to Isaiah 61. And it's in Isaiah 61, it talks about giving you a spirit of praise, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. Because I was heavy. I was heavy. I guess I was somebody that was down all the time. Every time he come, Eeyore. I definitely, yes, I was looking sad. And to the point, man, I know they were like, come on, God, but when God brought joy back to my life, when he used praise, and I still use praise for my life. Don't mean that depression don't try to come knocking at my door, but I definitely know what weapon to use.
Yes.
Concerning heaviness. And people think that, oh, no. No, it's a difference from praise than praise.
Yeah.
It's a difference because people know how the church will make it look like church, but when it's a praise for your life, when it's a real praise and you really praising, that thing broke off of me.
Yes.
And I know even now I choose it. People don't want they sit in church. No, sometimes you need to use your weapon.
Yeah.
Even your mouth. Your mouth through that praise, you're opening up your mouth. And guess what? Your mouth, your tongue will bring life to a thing.
Yes.
So when you start speaking, God, thank you for bringing me out. God, I praise you for the things that you brought me through. I thank you for my future.
Yes.
I thank you for the lessons that I had to learn. I thank you and praise God right in it. Let that weapon move for you. Let that weapon of praise move for you. Because we're not supposed to be heavy all the time.
Yeah.
A lot of times, I think what I found with the spirit of depression was it wasn't grateful.
Oh. Can I go sit on
You know, I never forget one of my older sisters. I told you I had sisters. My older sister said, you can't be grateful and depressed at the same time. Which one are you? Are you going to stay in that depression, or are you going to be grateful for the things? Are you counting your blessings?
Right.
And that's where she had to come in and hit home. I was like, thank you, Jesus. God used her to give that to me. Like, wait a minute, because if you're not thankful, if you would stop looking at that, you are so focused on what's wrong that you are not taking the time to give God the proper glory for the things that he has done, how he has kept you, how he has blessed you, how he has protected you, how he's made a way, how he's opened a door, how he's had provided, how he blessed you every day. He kept your mind.
So that's an example of wearing the armor.
Yes.
And fighting it. Because if you're fighting it, because if
So just to put it on.
yes,
But that's all he said you had to do is put it on.
yes,
Just
but
put it
and
on.
that's an example right there because
Yes.
you could just be sitting in depression and let depression just take over you and just
And
beat
not
you
fighting.
up.
Not
But
fighting.
Beat you up.
nothing.
You're not fighting it, and fighting it is saying, you know what? No, I'm grateful for what I got because I do
I'm
got,
still here.
and I'm still here breathing. That's why me and my sister go to she took me to a Bible study. I'm happy she did. I love her Bible study with the younger adults. I like them. I like them. And we go around in a circle and they ask, what's, out of 10, how was your week?
Yeah.
I say 10 every time.
Absolutely.
And they're like, why are you just a 10? I'm like, I'm breathing.
Well,
Yeah.
I am breathing.
Yes,
like,
Lord.
and if you're
Yes,
breathing,
Lord.
like he's not done with you.
No, it's not.
Like,
You got purpose.
yes.
And you have promises that he's going
Yes.
to fulfill. And that's it. And that's what it's all about. When we get to a place where we come to God and say, God, I just want to fulfill the purpose, whatever that may be, that you have for my life. I want to fulfill it, God.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. And I think I had to come to that. And that come through what I talk about, that thing, not having that humility. God had to humble me.
Yes.
I don't know about, as young women, sometimes we think, we so prideful and we don't think people be trying to help us. No, I got it. Be vulnerable.
Not
Be
me.
vulnerable.
No, it's okay. I got it.
And he had to show me that piece where that was actually not a great habit.
Yes. Yep.
Because you
blocking
come
the
through,
blessings.
we come through feeling like we have to be strong all the time. We've been told that all our life. You juggle. You got it, girl. And then people always say, "Oh, girl, you so strong." What are you saying?
Right.
What are you saying? Whatever the strength is, it's God. What you seeing, it came from Him. Go ahead.
You don't even understand because that's what you don't even know where my strength comes from.
Right.
I
I
know
know what
what
you're looking at.
The reason why I'm still standing is because
Of Him.
Mm-hmm.
Only Him.
and that's good. And I feel like sometimes I feel like actually all the time depression comes from you trying to fulfill your purpose of your life.
It's not what God said.
And if you're trying to fulfill your purpose for your life, you're going against His purpose for your life. So it's like that's depression. That's because if you're trying to fulfill your purpose for your life, you're going to keep juggling this and that, this and that. It's going to be I want to do this. I want to do that. Oh, you know what? I might try to do this. It's that double-minded thing.
Yes, it is. I was just, Denasia, you're taking the word. my it sure is. And I'm gonna say this to you, Pastor Karen. Sharon. Pastor Sharon. I have been such a strong-willed person. And the reason why is because at a young age, I just felt like I could not depend on people. So growing up as a young woman, I did become really independent and just super prideful, like just real bitter. Like that's just the way I move. And and I was able to walk through some doors because I'm pushing it. I'm trailblazing. Like, no, I'm doing this. But inside I was really scared. I was very scared. But I was also insecure. So there were a lot of places that I lacked security, financial insecurity, relational insecurity. Right. So I'm like, I need to fill all these places for me because my experience has not filled it for me. And I'm gonna say this to you. I've had my fair share and still have my fair share of spiritual battles with having to humble myself. And just even feeling low. Like I just had a couple days ago, a full straight week of just low, and what you're saying is resonating so deep, not only for the marriage part, not only for that, oh my gosh, but just personally, I really struggled with that prideful spirit, with that strong-willed spirit. And it put me in situations that I should not have been in. And it put my mind, I was so scared. Eventually, in the end, I was afraid of everybody. I couldn't trust nobody. I'm looking at everybody like everybody's out to get me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm the way I'm wired now is negative. So like you said, just that waking up in the morning, just those thoughts hit you off the bat. All the time, anxiety, all those different things. It's just, you do have to dig deep. Like the Spirit of the Lord told me months ago, you have to dig deep past your fear. You have to look past that. Like it's really gonna have to take faith for you to look past what your mind is telling you and believe what God said about you and your experience and the fact that He's not done with you. Because in those moments, you are that hyper, when you said hyper focus, I was, oh yeah, she know. She know. Because every little thing, every little negative thing, it's like, I can't be positive for nothing. I can't hold on to nothing positive at all. It's just the world is out to get me. I'm not loved, nothing. What is the point? What is the point of all this? But when you choose to say, okay, God, I know I'm experiencing all this, but I'm going to zoom out and I'm going to choose to seek you beyond my mind because you're bigger than my mind.
Yes, absolutely.
The Lord, God is bigger than our mind. And sometimes we limit Him to what we're experiencing in our head. No, don't do that. Yes. He is bigger than our heads. Yes. So when you seek that big God and His big love, and He goes deep. The Lord will pull you. He will
if you go deep and you say, okay, Jesus, I know I'm feeling this. I know I'm experiencing this, but I know you, God.
Absolutely.
But I know you. And you know what? I know you know what I'm experiencing.
Yes, yes.
So I'm gonna just keep speaking to you, because the enemy wants me to speak to the lies that I'm experiencing.
Yes,
he wants me to sit in those things and really believe that this is my life, this is me. All these bad things I'm saying about myself, all these bad things I'm saying about other people, he wants me to sit in that. But you know what? I'm gonna choose love. I'm gonna choose God. And look beyond that, and that is freeing, and that praise ain't no joke. It's deep.
It's no joke. But I'm gonna say this to you too. While we're sitting here and I'm listening to you, all of what you described is exactly, that rug that I was talking about being pulled up. When you go through what you just talked about, what we went through, where you feel like, okay, I have nobody, I don't trust. So you start writing or living your life a certain way after that, and it's a prideful place.
Yes.
So when God starts saying, look, I have another way.
Yes.
I have, daughter, I have a better way.
Yeah.
Daughter, I want to say this to you. The blessing in where God says, if you humble yourself under my mighty hand, in the right time, and in the right season, I'm going to lift you up.
Yes.
I'm going to exalt you to where I always purposed for you to be.
Yeah.
That's the thing that we see, because like you said, you talk about that thing of us, trying to work out our own purpose,
Yes.
our own plan. I know, a lot of times we get this thing where, okay, we are so focused on our career. And we put calling on what God called us to the side.
Yep.
And sometimes the career and calling kind of work hand to hand. If you yield to God
Yes.
about your calling,
Yes.
God will bless your career.
Yes.
But you gotta line up to what He has called and purpose for your life to be, and what He's called you to do. And I think that's the thing that we miss, because that's why the humbling is needed. He the only one that got all the answers.
Yes.
He know our future. He know the plan. He know the purpose. He said, I got a good plan for your future. I got hope. I got something. I got a plan for you. But we gotta humble ourselves.
Yes.
We gotta listen. We gotta go to the one who knows and can direct, and that I wouldn't know you had something to say. And I wanted to stop her while she was saying it. I was like, I can resonate, because you go through life and you have all these fears. Well, should I try? The anxiety of it, and you got to be careful. You got to constantly call your mind in a place of, God has not given me the spirit of fear,
Right.
but love, power, and a sound mind. You got to keep reminding yourself the power of God, the power that He has given us to love, to bring stability to our mind. Because He said, I ain't called you to that. Don't do that. No, I called you to love.
Yes. Exactly.
I've given you power and a sound mind, a stable mind.
Yes.
That's what I gave you. That's why we gotta, get plugged in. I talked about that yesterday.
like that.
Oh my God.
Look,
Oh my
I
God.
have a question. Right. So after the rug has been pulled up from underneath for you, right, and you are in that place of, all right, I look around, I'm clearly been humble, right? Y'all, everything gone, right? So now I'm in a place where I want to ask for help, right? And then you kind of dealing with the fear of rejection from
that's a part of it too.
the help that you need to ask for, right? And then it's like, I know that the people that I've been accustomed to asking for help are not safe people to ask for help anymore. But because those are the people that
You're comfortable.
put those traumas in me, now I'm, like she said, I'm scared to ask everybody else for help. And then when I'm going to them and I'm not sure how to ask for what I need, or even if I'm asking for the right thing, or you know what I mean? And just preparing for them to be like, no, I can't help you.
Right.
And to like, what's the word that I'm looking for? To confirm that thought that I already have of, I gotta do it myself, or it's not gonna get done, because every time I ask somebody, I'm getting a no, or they can't do it the way I need them to do it. And I'm learning that, like she said, you have to push through that fear, because there is somebody to add that's going to give you a yes. There is somebody that's going to give you a yes. And I'm going to tell you how I got introduced to her, right? So I got a job in Baltimore, and I was driving from Oxon Hill to Baltimore. And my friend that I work with, she was like, well, my mom and my cousin, they have a daycare. And I'm just like, I don't know them. And Kennedy, she's special needs, and y'all know how I am about my girls. Like, it's hard. She hard to like to say, okay, I trust you with my child, right? And then so she was like, nah, you know me. She like, Erin, I know how she is. I know how she is about me. She like, she don't play. So it's like, all right, if you trust them, I'm going to trust you enough to see what can happen. So fast forward, they go there. They become like family to me. They become like the moms that I was looking for. Like they become that for me, and grandparents for my girls. Like somebody who could teach them the things that I don't know because I'm not their age or I haven't experienced this stuff. Like, but they were getting all of that while they were there. And then I lost my job, and I couldn't pay them anymore. And I was like, I don't want to, keep sending them over there because I don't want to feel like I'm taking advantage because I feel like people was doing that to me. And I'm like, no, that's okay. I'll keep them home. And she was like, bring them back over here. They need structure. We love them. They need to be here. And I broke down so hard because I'm like, nobody does that. I'm about to cry now. Like, nobody does that. Yeah. Like, no, she's like, nah, I got them. Yeah. Bring them over here. Yeah. Bring them here. And I will never forget. She watched them until the day I moved out of that house and when I moved back down this way. Laura, when I wound up down there, she kept them. And even still after that, they call, they check on them. They see how they doing, and I'm just like so grateful for that because that was the moment I'm like, I wasn't looking at them for help, right? And but I looked around and everybody that I would ask couldn't help me. I'm doing all this stuff for people all day, every day, and they can't help me.
Yeah.
But God was like, I don't want them over there anyway.
Yes.
You're not even look over here. I told you. You fighting me. I told you where to send them to.
And that be the part where we fight them. Like, because we don't think, when we can't see where he's taking us or who he's trying to use. Yeah. It's like, that's when that control thing comes in. You try to do your part. You try to do what you want to do. Yeah. And that's how you end up with something. And that's how you stress. But when he gives us, it just comes so easy. It's like, how did that happen? Like, how did that, that's how you know it's him. That's how I look at it now. I know it's him when it's like, how?
But like, that was too easy.
Right. Too easy. Yeah. Like, are you serious?
It was him.
Yes, it was him. Now, when it's me,
it's a whole mess. You already know it's
Hand falling out.
There's other things that's tied to it.
Yes.
There's other thing that's tied and connected. Then you got to fix that because he didn't send you over there. Right. He didn't tell you to do it, but you didn't rely on him.
Yes.
And sometimes we didn't even ask him.
Right.
That's he would have instructed us and told us which way to go or open the door and say, go walk through that door. I got somebody that I want you to meet.
That's that plug in.
Yes, that plug in.
That's the plug.
That was what I was talking about. You got to plug into your source.
Yes.
God is our source.
Yes, he is.
And so when you plug in, do you know the source and all the resources he will bring to us just by being plugged into him?
So Pastor Sharon. You telling me that we plugged into the wrong outlet?
We are.
Oh, that outlet, the generator, off over there. The power, the circuit broke.
And see, that's what I talked about yesterday with the women in the workshop. The power outages.
Wow.
How did that plug come unplugged? Who did you allow somebody to pull it? Did you unplug it?
That's good.
Go reconnect. Plug in.
Yes.
Go plug in. You need your source.
Yes.
And whatever you don't have, the thing about the source and about God did, all powerful, all knowing, everything that you need is in him.
Yes.
So if you don't have it, you don't know it. Guess who the one who has it and know it, who got all the power? He's the greatest.
Yes.
So whatever you have is education. You say, okay, you don't have it. I'm going to send something. I'm going to teach you. I'm going to train you. I'm going to give you what you need. I'm going to allow you to have experiences that I will show you and teach you and train you. Or he will connect you to the right folk.
Yes, he will. That's what I was talking about one episode about playing. Some people play the spade. I mean, some people play the game spades, and some people play the game Uno of life. So, like, if you're Uno, it's every man for themselves. At the end of Uno, it's gonna be you against somebody. Y'all have to go against somebody, right? But with spades, you got a partner.
You got a partner.
And if we lose,
I love that.
if we lose, we're gonna lose together. But some more hands gonna be dealt. But then we start, when new hands are dealt to us, then we're able to come up with that strategy between us two. And you know, all right, so I don't have it, but you got it. If I lose, we losing the gavel. You know what I mean? Then we get these facial expressions, like, oh, girl, I
can read that.
Girl, you know, it's like you gotta be plugged in.
It's all about who your partner is.
You gotta be plugged in.
It's all about who your partner is.
Yeah, it is. Exactly. So it's like, even when you try to be by yourself, you can't do this by yourself. So from now on, for me, when I feel a little bit down or something, that means that my stuff is unplugged. I need to go plug it back in.
Exactly.
Instead of trying to ignore that, I'm gonna go plug it back in, because you know something's off.
You know I'm disconnected, God. I disconnected from you. I'm disconnected, and I feel everything around me is feeling that I'm not connected. So I'm not getting the charge. You know, that electricity flowing, that flow. Guess what? I don't care what kind of device it is, whether it's your cell phone, whether it's a refrigerator or the microwave. It needs to be plugged in to do the function that it needs to do, so you can use it for whatever you need. And guess what? You can't use if you leave the refrigerator unplugged, everything is going to fail. Going bad. So what about not God? Not you know, if you're not plugged into God, what you think going bad? What you think is off? Because he done made you and created you and put some gifts and talent in you. But if you're not plugged in to the source, so where this thing can get what it needs to operate in this world the way that we supposed to fulfill the purpose that he has for us in the kingdom, we're no use. And some of us try to plug in part-time, like with the cell phone. I'm going to plug it in and take it away from the charger. That phone will die.
It will die.
And you better know to go back.
Charge me all the way up, so I gotta keep going back.
Because people think that you need to stay plugged in.
Stay plugged in.
Absolutely.
It's like my baby iPad that just be dying. As soon as you unplug it.
Shoot, they don't care. They say, oh, there's a little bit of juice on that. I'm good to go. I'm good to go. That thing taking too long.
It's taking too long.
That's it.
It takes too long to get charged back up.
That's it. And we don't want to wait. And we don't want to wait. And when you stay unplugged too long, it takes longer for the charge.
And Miss Sharon. And if he quiet. And if he quiet in the midst of it.
Because he already told you. You need to be remembering what I already said. So I don't need to say nothing else, because you want to listen to that.
And that's the thing that we do. For most of us, and that's still teeter-tottering into pride, because when you don't want to wait for the Father, when you want to say, well, God, I'm gonna do it my way. That's where we end up worst off, because we decided that we knew better than him. He be looking like, wait a minute, I had this thing all figured out for you. On this date, I had it all figured out. But you done stepped in on this date and you done messed up everything. Now look at you. You know, and as a father, he knows. But we gotta, like we said, you gotta know how to stay tapped in, listening, spending time with him. We have to spend time with him. And a lot of times we don't want to humble ourselves to do it. It takes humbling. He said, if my people that will call on my name would humble themselves and pray, seek my face, turn from wicked ways that don't please me, then you will hear from me. Look at those 4 things he said to do. Humble yourself was the first one.
I asked you, about bad habits and good ones.
That was a bad one.
You brought up you brought up all the bad ones,
Yeah.
and you straight up showed us how to replace with all the good ones.
Yes.
So let me give you my one Bible verse that I had, because I was like, well, just in case I get the chance to
That's
say
so
something,
good.
I was happy. But it went right with this because so one of the bad habits that I had was focusing on too much on the past things that I did, right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to replace it with remembering the things that were good that happened and how that outweighed all of the bad things and how the bad things that I had was self-inflicted on my, like I wasn't listening and I was doing what I wanted to do. I was moving too fast. Moving too fast.
Listen.
And then I did it. I got out of it. God got me out of it, and then I did it again.
Yes.
And I'm moving too fast, right?
That's what happened.
Get the lesson. That's what you get the lesson.
The Bible verse is it's Philippians 3:13. My Christian friends, I do not think that I have reached that place yet, but this is what I do.
Yes.
I do not think about past things that have already happened. Instead, I try hard to reach the things that are still in front of me.
Yes.
So that's something that I've been working on me. Instead of beating myself up for all the things that I did and just having grace for myself, the grace that God has had for me, because they said something, I don't know this Bible verse offhand, but there's something about you trip 7 times and you get back up.
Righteous fall of 7 times.
And I'm thinking about all the times. The only difference that makes you different from being godly and wicked is that you have the power to get back up. And every time that I saw myself fall, I got back up and I tried again. So that is why I'm encouraging myself not to beat myself up about stuff that's already past. I can't do nothing about it now, and just continue to rise up and just try to make better choices as I move forward. And the only way I've been able to do that is by rebuilding my relationship with God from them times where I call myself getting mad. Luckily, He don't untether me like I try to untether myself. I'm like, when I get mad, He just reel me back on then.
Yes.
Come and sit right here because you need to be home for a little bit.
That's a relationship you want.
That's the one. You
The
don't
one
want them
that's
that's just gonna be like, whatever.
That's a real man for you.
Yeah.
A relationship. I'm sorry. A relationship where you building something and he gonna take care of you. That's the example of a father.
Yes, it is.
The example of a husband.
Yes.
You know, he give us this is the blueprint.
Yes,
this is
it
what
is.
you want.
That's what I should be
If
looking
you,
for.
that's what you should be looking for.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
But how can you know the relationship that you need if you don't build the right relationship with
Right. What I like about what y'all saying is like when you was talking, what went back to my mind was because of that hurt place and our built relationship, it gave me compassion, and I was able to help other women. If we don't go and see what I love about God is like you ain't listen. I had to humble you, but I'm gonna use that. I'm still gonna use that.
Please
Go
say
ahead,
it,
please
say it.
That's so true.
It is.
Because I found that in all of that pride and all of that not wanting to fail and all of that just fear of rejection, fear of being judged, all that stuff, that on the other side of that, after I humbled myself and keep having to humble myself and seek the Lord's love, what God says that love is, what is love, and really educate myself with God, in that space, I found that, okay, I don't know, I was born to love. Like like God has, like, I have a heart for people very deeply, and the enemy wants me to hate everybody, and he wants me to look at everybody like they're my enemy when they're really not. You know, so on the other side of you humbling yourself, there is so much love and abundance, and so much that you'll overflow, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I am here for you. And even just forgiving, compassion is the key to forgiveness. Having compassion even for yourself, being able to look back at yourself and having compassion for yourself. Like, okay, like, I understand. I get you.
Even with that, I was having a conversation with my podcast yesterday, and something that came up was my friend said that sometimes I'm overstanding. So like I'm too understanding, right? And I said, and she said, and that's sometimes how you've been in situations too long, or you entertain things that you just so empathetic, like the empathy part of it, you feel hard. And she was like, but that's something that I do love about you because your heart is so big. So I had to sit with that for a minute because I was like, am I really like giving people too many chances?
Maybe.
Am I giving too many people chances, or am I like, I don't want to change that part of me, right? That where I'm like loving and then turn into like a callous person because I don't know when to close the valve onto people,
Right, but
and
that's why I was saying to you, because when you were talking, I'm like, I feel like my heart was running my life for so long. So no, but my mind, so your mind would give you the logic, give you the real of like what's going on, but your heart just deceives you. Like so now I got to the point where I'm like, it's the balance. I want to find a balance with them too. Yeah, and I'm like, you're not. The heart is like, well, but. But your mind is just like, girl, listen, you see it for what it is, but I now need to balance it out.
Yeah.
And that's when you have to pray to God for like to be able to see the truth beyond like the smoke and the mirrors. And that's one of the affirmations that I said. And my thing was just like, I really need to be able to accept. When I ask for clarity, to be able to accept the truth.
Yeah, but the thing is, but your heart will tell you that
it's fine.
You will see it.
Yeah. Your heart like, no, but look,
I'm gonna say to y'all ladies, that's still dealing with not having humility. That's still being prideful because in our mind and our heart, or our heart, the heart wants what it wants.
Yeah.
That thing could be so bad for you, but it wants what it wants. I want that thing. I want that thing, and God be saying. The spirit be talking to you like, no, that's not. I want you. That's not what I had. But our heart, and we will go to such lengths.
Yes.
That's why I said that God had to humble me because I was willing to go through so many lengths to get that thing and to keep that thing, and it wasn't what He chose for me. So we gotta watch that because like you talked about that heart, who can know it but God? He know that it's desperately good. Yes, he said, who can know the heart but God? Because, and God got, people, it kill me when I hear this. Not that it kill me, that's not the right word. I have to watch how I say my words. But I don't like when I hear people say, well, God knows my heart. You are really trying to
justify.
A lot of times
you take accountability.
Yes, without taking accountability because yes, He does know your heart.
Right.
That's the issue.
Right. Exactly.
What's the problem? He knows everything.
And that's like you keep knocking on the door and you keep ignoring it. Come on, God know my heart. And that's why He here.
And that's like, yes. And I think that's what He's like, I'm still trying to teach you. And He's such a loving Father.
Yes.
He is such a loving Father. And He's so patient with us. So He allow us to go through and He'll wait till you done. Like a child, we be having tantrums because we wanted that thing. We falling out kicking and whatever. But I don't know, and He be saying, okay, you done? You ready to get up now? You ready to brush yourself off?
Yeah.
Now let Yes. Exactly. And He sits there and patiently says, okay, now let me give you some suggestions.
Yeah.
This is what I want you to try. I want you to listen to me. I love you. I want the best for you. I always have your best interest at heart. You don't know the future like I do. You don't know the plan. You don't even know how great this thing going to be. You only seeing it from your little lens, and I see this thing in a greater way. So we really have to go to Him. That's what it says, because we will make a mess saying, like she said, you looking and when you were talking about finding a balance, I think all of us, when we're dealing with, you said, we our heart, or we just have this empathy for people. You have to still ask God, when is it who you supposed to sow that to. Because you don't want to ever be just like putting stuff in the ground and it's not going to bring you no You got to sow it where it needs to be
I
sown.
feel like we've been talking about 3-4
You know,
episodes about
yeah,
the ground, the
Yeah.
foundation.
Yeah.
We've been talking.
Because
The
it's hard.
foundation,
I
the
mean,
heart.
that's what it is. And when you sowing, you sowing your empathy, your time, your energy, and God was like, no, who really needed it was that girl over there.
You
But
missed
you-
it because
but
you were
you-
so
'cause you
focused on what you wanted to do.
And you know, your heart, you had that compassion because that's of God.
Yeah.
But you got to also ask him where he wants to go to lead you in it. To lead you in it, because I've been so duped so many years through certain people and doing things, and he'd be like, well, that once again, but he blesses me through it because but he said, once again, you moved in a place, and people, I had to learn how people would manipulate me because of the heart that I had. They knew the right words. Let me tell her I'm a hurting woman. Let me tell her that my children don't have food. Just all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But I still had to ask God to know when and what.
Yes.
Sometimes that was the condition, but sometimes we enable people. So he was like, no, I want you to teach her how to do this.
Right.
Teach her a trade. Give her the right places to go.
Right.
So he will help you balance that and show you how to, where he wants you to put what you got in, what he put in you.
Yes.
Because he's gifted us. And I think that goes back to us being plugged in.
Yes, it does.
It does go back.
It go back to us being plugged in so we can know. Because when you're not, after you pour all that, you end up being empty.
Exactly.
Every time your cup will be empty. And sometimes he was like, sometimes he'd be like, no.
I can't give it to you because you're going to give it to the wrong person. That's not for them. So here, until you figure that out.
And I've learned, like they say, you're not supposed to give from your cup, you give from the overflow or from the saucer. And we learning that now. You done poured and it was never meant. You never was supposed to take from your cup to the point, and that's what I've learned through the years. He was like, no, keep your cup full.
Yeah.
Now the
overflow.
overflow.
I needed to hear that
That's
part.
so good.
I needed to hear that because
Oh my
That's what I've
God.
been taught.
you always hear.
That's what I've been taught.
You always
Yeah,
don't pour
pastors,
from
my
an empty
bishop,
cup.
we heard that.
Yeah, but you didn't hear the part like, no, your cup got to be full, and you need to keep what's filling up your cup. You give them the extra.
Right. Then you empty and you drain and you drain. You now
you don't have
in
what
the
you need.
place or in a worse place than that person that came to you to pour. Because we got to understand there are people that take. We got to be able to identify that.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. Takers have
That
no
takes-
limits.
Identify and not ignore it.
Right, and that takes
It be the
God's
ignoring.
wisdom. It
Yes.
does take God's
Oh
wisdom.
my
It was
gosh.
so good.
So-
I want to keep talking so bad.
I was like, y'all need to do a run a part
Y'all
two
have
real
to
quick.
come back. You don't have to come back, but yes, I'm so happy that you came.
Okay.
I'm so
Me
happy that we got to
too.
meet you. Yes. Oh my gosh, because I was waiting for this. I'm like, if Nini's bringing you up, I'm like, yes, we have to meet her, and you truly have blessed me. You have planted, you have planted and watered today. Okay.
Yes. Like, I want to be
God,
out
to
there
God
with
be the
the
glory.
We have to
I need a
connect.
one-on-one with you.
Okay.
Ooh, I got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we have to connect for sure.
Flawless victory.